Hello, Facebook. I am actually early today. Well, it's the afternoon at least. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Gail and I am an intuitive soul coach. I help you to connect to your inner child and also hear your parent's voice and connect to your soul voice and create a compassionate internal dialogue so you can navigate life much more effectively from a heart-based space. So one of the things that's come up recently, just in the last 3 days actually, has been this thing of truth or perception. There was a question I was asked today, which is there a thing which is an absolute truth? Or is it always just your perception of what's going on? And I have to say, I sent many messages back to this lady, and I was actually kind of struggling to explain it in a concise way, because I thought I actually haven't really tried to explain this before. But that's okay, because I kind of see it as, I am learning things to teach as I go. So bear with me, those who are joining me at the moment, and I will try to explain the best I can on the difference between what I consider to be a more holistic view of people and situations than perception. So, and I have written down some notes so that I don't forget. So, perception versus reality, right? And there is much to be said about the perception. There is a part of that that's absolutely true. When we're in communication, particularly in relationships or with family and friends, people that are close to us, sometimes our perception of what's going on and the dynamics of the communication can be totally skewed. And we can be coming from a place of pain, we can be coming from a place of judgment, we can be coming from anger, we can be a lot of the time coming from a place of something that happened to us when we were 7 and we got shouted at, or 7 and we locked ourselves away, or 10 and we ran away because there was a conflict, or 11 and we had a big fight with somebody, right? So we can be carrying things from childhood right through to the present day, and then we act out that childhood wound as if it's happening right now, and we believe it is happening right now, and it's not. It's actually a trigger that is inbuilt in the emotional body that we've carried. So for those of you who know me, you know I talk a lot about the inner child residing in the body, and whenever your body is giving you a signal, so that could be pain, it could be lethargy, it might be fatigued, it could turn up as eczema, asthma, lots of different things. A lot of the time your body is actually giving you a signal. Your inner child is trying to get your attention, because we have been trained through school and through just the way we are in the West, that our body is kind of separate from our head, right? We're sort of trained that our consciousness is it's our brain, and no one's proven that, but that's how we've kind of been brought up to believe the world works, right? So we miss things. So there is a thing about perception. Hello, DK. Hello to everyone who's joined. Thank you for joining me. So there is a thing about perception, absolutely, totally. And we can have our thinking skewed. And when we have triggers go off, which are the gateway to our childhood wounds, if we choose to look at them, most of us don't. Most of us just react when we're being triggered. We don't actually take the time to step back and witness it. DK, say my name twice. Hello, I see you. People start WhatsApping because I can't look at my screen. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting totally taken off track. So that's perception. Now, the question was, in this conversation about a particular situation, which I can't go into and I won't, but is there an absolute truth to a person or a situation that we should be trying to seek, rather than it just being about our perception and trying to fix our perception, okay? Because the situations and scenarios I'm talking about are situations in which our thinking is skewed. Okay, so remember that. Perception is about your thinking is amiss, maybe, okay? Or your thinking maybe isn't broad enough. When we have issues with perception is what I mean, okay? Your perception might be spot on with absolute truth. But your thinking might be skewed. And that's when it's a call to actually look within and check ourselves. Always check yourself. And be around people who are checking themselves too, because that means your communication with those people is going to be of a way higher vibrational level, because you're not having to try and help them to understand. They're not having trying to help you understand. You're looking at yourselves and you're coming together in communication, in effective communication and effective language. If you're finding your triggers are causing reactions, or someone else's triggers are causing reactions, it can make it really difficult to have a conscious conversation. We can kind of get taken off track. But anyway, so the thing that comes with what I call searching or seeking for the truth is this. We can have a perception about someone or a situation or an environment, like a school or something like this, okay? Say it's school, for example, where we believe that school is better, or that school is the most prestigious school, and it's going to give my child what he or she absolutely requires. And we believe that because our perception is maybe the posh kids go to that school, maybe it's in a good area, maybe it has top marks in the country, maybe it's won awards, or maybe all the children are getting A's for all their classes, and that's what we see. So we are discerning from that place that this school is the best school, but we haven't even seen it. So we haven't been there. And we just want our child to go to that school, but we haven't actually seen the school at all. We've never been in it. We've never looked around it. We've never spent time talking to the teachers in it. We haven't talked to any of the people who have been in the school. We haven't talked to any of the moms or dads who have taken children to that school. We actually know nothing about it, right? We don't know anything about it. So we cannot really absolutely know that school is the best school. We've just decided that that's the case, right? And this also happens with people. We can meet people, especially when we fall in love, we meet someone who we go, oh my God, they're so sexy, they're cute, they're funny. And we don't bother to check anything about the rest of them. Maybe they talk well, maybe they dress well, maybe they send you messages where you've made to feel like you're like the one and only thing. But we haven't done our homework. We haven't actually checked to see, if you can see me properly, we haven't actually checked to see or learn or connect on a deeper level, right? So what is required is depth, because the other bit is shallow. We're making a shallow choice based on a tiny perception, right? So what we want to do is, with the school, we want to basically go to that school. We want to check the environment. We want to talk to the pupils. We want to talk to the staff. We want to see what the pupils like about it. We want to see what they don't like about it. We want to find out as much as we can, if we really want our child to go to the best school, by finding out truth. What is the actuality of that situation and that environment, rather than just deciding something from the shiny exterior. And we make this mistake all the time. So when it comes down to this, Kia, it's about perception versus truth, or truth versus perception, whatever way I put it in the title. Oh, thank you, Gav. You're my truth. You're so sweet. Hello, Max. Oh, I haven't seen you for ages. How are you, my love? It's good to have you here. So I'm basically talking about whether truth actually exists, because everyone's truth is different, right? So your truth would come in if you go to that school and you're with your partner, right? You've got two people. You go to school with your partner. You both go in. The woman goes in and she's looking around. She's going, oh, it's really clean. I really like the headmistress. I really like the teacher that she's going to have. She seems really kind. The pupils seem to be well behaved. And she's saying everything as, you know, she likes it, right? And the husband goes in and he says, well, the head teacher was a little bit bossy. And the teacher that she's going to have, I think she's a bit quiet. I'm not sure that she'll be able to handle our mischievous child, right? So he's seen some other things. So as you can see, perception is still part of this. Perception is still happening. But what you're then doing is you're then hopefully having conscious conversation and communication with your partner so that you can then find out more truth, because he's seen something she didn't see and she's seen something that he didn't see. And this is like the circle of perception. We need to get as many perceptions as possible around this circle. Your thing is in the middle, whether it be a person or a place or a situation. And what we want to do is we want to get as many different views as possible. Now, the times when you don't need this is when your gut absolutely knows. Okay? Sometimes I have an incredibly intuitive gut and it just knows something that makes absolutely no sense to my brain, right? My brain cannot help in that sense, right? But this is where you get to hone your gut instinct. It's the only way. You have to find out the truth, right, about people and situations, and then tune in with your gut to see whether or not your gut is in alignment. When your gut gets in alignment, you get psychic downloads. I know it sounds weird, right, but you get information that you couldn't possibly know just by using your brain. Your body picks up on things. And if you're not trained in it, you better start. Because the world's speed, energetic speed is ramping up. Things are going faster and faster, and we're being asked to check ourselves and check in with other people. Transparency is becoming more and more and more. And I know that sounds a bit weird at this time with everything that's going on with the government and with terror attacks and things like that. But this also totally relates to that, right? So you can be a person who absolutely supports the government, or you might be on the opposite side. You might totally not support the government, and your perception will be one or the other, but without finding out more information and without seeking it out, okay, and without talking to other people and using discernment, not judgment, you can't possibly know. You cannot possibly absolutely know unless you start training yourself. Train yourself to seek out other people, to not just view life from one view, and to hone the connection with your intuition. I believe we're all going there anyway. I don't think we have a choice. I don't know how many years it will take, but say it's 100 years, then people hopefully will be more in tune with their guts, because there's more and more empathic, sensitive people, heart-led people arriving on the planet. And yeah, that's where I believe we're going. So I'm really hoping you're getting this, because like I said, I've only just really started talking about this, so I'm not sure if it's absolutely clear. But one of the things I'm going to say before I go, because I've not got very long. Now, if you imagine this, okay, other than the school thing, this will maybe be a bit painful for some people. But if you were to imagine there's this amazing person and they seem bright and shiny and happy and fun and super intelligent, and they seem to be a well-rounded, balanced, adjusted person who has it all on track, okay? And you're looking at them like, this person is amazing. And I can't believe they want to spend time with me, okay? And then you spend time getting to know them. And you get to know them fairly well, okay? You're maybe not in a relationship with them. It's maybe someone who is somebody that you work with, or somebody that you maybe went to school with, or something like that. So you know them from going to school. I don't know why school was coming in my head. Maybe because I've got to pick Ella up from school. That's probably what it is. So say someone at school, so funny, and you like them and you hang out with them every day. And then one day you find out that that person has beaten up someone else, like beaten them black and blue, and they've hidden it, or they've been caught, or whatever it is. Your version of that person would change. You wouldn't have that same perception of that person any longer, would you? Because now you have more truth. Now you have more truth about that person. Your perception of them has broadened and widened, and you now have to discern whether that person gets to be part of your circle. Too many people are making choices about people and places and situations based on a tiny, tiny, tiny view. You're looking through a pinhole, love. Whoever's looking through the pinhole, you're looking through a pinhole rather than looking at the wider view. And in order to get in touch with your intuition and know the absolute truth, and there isn't really an absolute truth, okay? I'll just say that. There's not really absolute truth because your perception's still part of it, and it widens and changes all the time. But if you then find out that that person is doing something to hurt someone else, are they now this amazing, intelligent and good person? Well, they might kind of be, but they're not an absolutely good person. They're actually in part a bad person. They're now hurting somebody. And it's really important that when we seek the truth is in alignment with our hearts and our guts. So when you find out information about someone and then, or a situation like I was saying about the schools, you have to discern and you have to check in with yourself, and you have to get really connected to your gut and really connected to your heart, and then you will know what your truth is, because that's the pivotal point. Find out the information so you're not just acting from a perceived perception of someone, a tiny, tiny little view. Connect to your truth by finding out more truth. Okay? Does that make sense? Perception affects truth. Yes, Max. Oh, I hope your laughing face is laughing along with me and laughing at me, because I actually don't mind if you laugh at me, because I laugh at me all the time. Yeah, so basically true perception is discernment, right? Discernment, discernment, discernment. Do not make decisions based on knowing nothing. Do not make decisions based on knowing something, like a tiny something. Don't decide from that place. Check in with your gut, get to know your gut, get to know your intuitive responses. It speaks to you all the time. And then you just know things. But the place that you're acting from is also important, because most of us are choosing and acting from a place where we're not really connected to our soul voice. We're really kind of acting sometimes from a child place. We're letting the child take over and take control. And the child's perception is obviously fear-based a lot of the time, because your inner child, the one that calls out to you, the one that has a tantrum, is wounded. So clearing of the wounds, or basically reconditioning, using a compassionate adult voice that we have to cultivate, we have to learn how to do that, is really pivotal in aiding your all-knowing, all-seeing, gut intuitive response to kick in. And it also helps you to discern from a greater, much wider and broader level, without the fear kicking in, that the inner child has. Okay? And very lastly, because I do have to run, check in with your beliefs, because your beliefs can also thwart truth. Your beliefs can take you off on the wrong path. And that I've done this. So I know my beliefs around what love was absolutely took me down the wrong path in relationship. My perception of what love should be and what I should be given in that relationship and the other person to me was really skewed, because I had a wounded inner child that needed loving. So I kept giving, and it was never enough. And it was never the right thing. So that's just part of my story, which I will go into more detail later. But I need to dash off now. So I hope that explained a little bit I hope it didn't make you confused, but if you have any questions, then please message me and I'll do my best to answer them as soon as I can. All right, loves, I will check in with you soon.